Okay, people, I'm just gonna get straight into this review because I'm gonna be honest. I really never expected Lockdown to be the way it was. Like seriously, I was not crunk about this pay-per-view at all. I expected it to be nothing but bad, but it really was quite interesting. And the ending was, even though it was predictable, it was probably one of the best endings I've ever seen in a TNA pay per view thus far. And what I mean is, it created so much crowd interaction. Not only on that, but on Twitter. Who would ever thought that Jim Ross and Evan Bourne of the WWE would be watching Lockdown? Not only that, they'd be making comments on Twitter about it. Seriously, this had to be a very interesting pay-per-view on both sides. And that's the reason why I'm really happy about giving this a decent review. Now, starting off the entire show, I was the X Division Championship, and honestly, that was an overall good match. It usually is an overall good match. I was actually rooting for Christian York, but unfortunately, as predicted, Kenny King ended up taking it home. But I guess Kenny King needed to have a lengthy title reign, so it would honestly make sense for him to actually keep the titles. Honestly, I really didn't care much about the Knockouts match, but it did kind of spark up another feud between Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell. So, because, I mean, we all knew that was coming, especially the conflict that they had between each other. It was a given that that was going to happen. But my match that I loved, because I heart this guy, Joseph Park. Joseph Park's match was all but great because Joseph Park was in it, and I heart that man. And the fact that he won was even better. Yay! Who cares about the other guy? All I call him is the Dirty Dirt Diggler. The Dirty Dirt Diggler didn't win this time. Yay! He's talking about he has a full package and he knows how to use it or whatever. I'm like, dude, no, you don't, because your tights are so tight we can see it from here, and there's really nothing packing between your pants. Well, between your legs, nothing really packing there. We can kind of tell from a mile away. But anyway, the thing is that Joseph Park won. Yay! That made me so happy. I heart Joseph Park. But anyway, moving on from there, I have to say that, did I care about the West Briscoe or whatever? I mean, did I care about West Briscoe versus Kurt Angle? No, I didn't really care much about that match. Period. And since West Briscoe actually won that match, I kind of knew that the Aces and Eights overall was going to take it. Even though, if the Aces and Eights were going to have that ending that they had at the end, wouldn't it make sense for them to win all matches? Like, okay, West Briscoe ended up winning his match against Kurt Angle. How come the Aces and Eights could not win against Team TNA? If they were going to have that epic ending like they had before, the big reveal, even though people already knew about it, wouldn't it make sense for the Aces and Eights to win all three matches they were in? It would have made sense for the Team Aces and Eights to actually out trump Team TNA if they were going to dominate at the end, which is what they did. We all knew that was going to be coming. But in my humble opinion, the tag team match between, and the reason why this was pretty much like the main event of the night for me is because of the fact that no one knew what was going to happen with Bobby Roode. Nobody had any idea whether or not Bobby Roode was re-signed, whether or not he left, whether or not his contract was done. Nobody really knew. And it was nice to actually see Bobby Roode out there with Austin Aries fighting for the championship. And I am not going to lie, that was pretty much the match of the night in my opinion. That was an awesome match with an awesome finish. I'm not going to lie. With Cass and Daniels versus Chavo Guerrero and Cass and Daniels versus Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez versus Roode and, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries. I loved that match. It was like literally, it kept you on the edge of your seat watching it the whole time, even though you knew, kind of predicted in the end who was gonna win this whole thing. It was great. I loved that match. I thought it was pretty much the match of the night, in my opinion. Not so much the match of the night that actually happened at the end. And can we say, does anybody really care about Robbie E. Robbie T? No. I kind of knew that Robbie T was going to trump out in the end because, number one, he's bigger. Number two, he's stronger. And number three, Robbie E is weaker. So we all knew that Robbie E was going to win this match. But the main event of the night. Good grief. Where can I go from there? The match itself was okay. The thing is, the match itself was good because Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy has literally performed with each other before. They've been enemies, they've been frenemies in WWE. They have fought with each other before, so they're able to have that good in-ring chemistry. They're able to perform well in the ring because they know each other that well. But the whole thing with the Aces and Eights coming in there, it was a huge turn, and we kind of sort of knew what was going to happen. We kind of knew that Jeff Hardy was going to get screwed, and the only possible way that Bully could win it is if he turned heel because he had to be the heel of that match. That's how it is. There's either one heel and one face. We knew that Jeff Hardy was going to be the face. So we know that Bully Ray had to be the heel in order to win. And seeing how Hulk Hogan came out there at the end, as well as Brooke, we knew that he was going to screw them in their faces. That was something that we kind of smelled a long way, far away. We kind of knew that was going to happen. And it did. And I have to say that the reason why I loved it, the reason why I loved that ending, because the crowd reaction was so freaking crazy. Everyone was throwing beer cans in the ring, just tossing trash in the ring, and they were tossing it back, and they were tossing more trash. I loved it. I loved the fan interaction. People were pissed. Pissed, I tell you. They did not like it at all. And that's why I loved the ending. I have to say that Lockdown overall did have some boring matches. I'm not going to lie. Team TNA versus Team Aces and Eights was boring. It was watching paint dry. And it was seriously, I had more fun talking about it on Twitter than I did actually watching the match. But I have to say that they really did know how to bring it up and know how to turn things in another direction to make it more interesting. And I have to say the ending throughout the entire thing was definitely a way to go, as well as the tag team match was really great in its own right. So I have to say that this was a pretty okay pay-per-view. It wasn't, I'm not going to say it was solid. It was just really solid. But I have to say that it was okay. I don't really know whether or not Bully Ray is a member or if he's a leader. Because I don't know whether or not they actually, the VP, there has to be a president, or there has to be a leader of them all. Is Bully Ray the leader? Either or, we'll find out on TNA Impact when they actually be in the live TNA, which when they're actually going to be in Chicago. So we'll probably find out during that live TNA. But I have to say this was a pretty decent pay-per-view. I absolutely enjoyed it. Some of the matches were a little bit boring and slow and sluggish, but I have to say the ending not say top notch, but the ending was good. The fact that they were able to have the crowd react that way means that they were doing a pretty good job of what they were doing. And as well as the tag team match, I can't gush about it enough. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Leave your comments in the comment section below or send me a video response. I absolutely love this pay-per-view. I think it was awesome, regardless of how stupid and pointless some of the matches were. But I really think it was good. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.